Imagine this army storming across ancient lands, their banners fluttering in the wind, the sound of drums echoing like thunder across valleys. Temples burn, scrolls turn to ash, and the scent of smoke fills the air. Scholars flee, sages hide, and an entire civilization trembles under the weight of invasion. Amid the chaos, a quiet flame survives, hidden in caves, whispered in songs, carried in the breath of ordinary people. This is the story of yoga, the practice that should have been destroyed, but refused to die. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear is not just history. It's a story of survival, resilience, and a secret that has lasted thousands of years. Yoga was never just stretches and poses. It was a rebellion of the spirit, a science of inner freedom. It was a way to understand the mind, master the breath, and connect with something far greater than the individual self. In the Upanishads, sages whispered about the self beyond the body, the eternal truth that exists even beyond the chaos of the world. In Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, the mind itself was mapped like a battlefield. Thoughts, emotions, and desires were obstacles to be observed, mastered, and transcended. By the time kingdoms flourished, yoga was the hidden crown jewel of India, practiced in temples, forests, and schools. Its teachings traveled silently, from teacher to student, carried in breath, posture, and meditation. But peace, as history shows, is always temporary. What comes next will test the resilience of this ancient tradition. The first invasion struck like thunder. Armies swept down from the northwest, bringing with them fire, fear, and destruction. Ancient universities, Nalanda Vikramshila, once holding thousands of manuscripts filled with knowledge of yoga, philosophy, and science, went up in flames. Scrolls vanished. Gurus were killed. Entire communities were uprooted. The land itself seemed to shudder under the weight of conquest. It should have been the end. But instead, yoga transformed. Yogis disappeared into the Himalayas, climbing treacherous paths, braving icy winds, meditating on cliffs far from prying eyes. Others hid in dense forests, teaching only by word of mouth, careful never to reveal their knowledge to outsiders. In village courtyards, mantras disguised themselves as songs of devotion. Movements of prayer mirrored postures of asana. Breath became the secret language of resistance. Yoga became invisible, but it did not die. And here's the twist. Most invaders never realized the greatest weapon they could not destroy was inside the people themselves. When swords tried to silence tradition, the voices of the people grew louder. The Bhakti movement rose, saints singing in streets and villages, their songs overflowing with devotion for Krishna, Shiva, and the divine. But hidden within those melodies were the whispers of ancient yogic truths, passed from generation to generation. The rhythm of bhajans carried the breath of pranayama. The gestures of dance echoed forgotten postures. In small homes and quiet courtyards, mothers and fathers taught children these sacred movements, embedding yoga in daily life, disguised as song and play. The invaders thought they had erased a philosophy, but yoga had simply worn a new disguise. It hid in the music, in the devotion, in the heartbeat of the people. And yet, even this survival was only temporary, for another storm was on the horizon. Then came the British. They didn't burn temples. They dismissed them. They called yoga superstition, primitive, irrelevant. Schools replaced Sanskrit with English. Modernity replaced tradition. But yoga was waiting. Swami Vivekananda carried its voice to the Parliament of Religions in Chicago in 1893. His words electrified the West. Each soul is divine. The goal is to manifest that divinity within. And back home, masters like Krishnamacharya resurrected asanas and breathing techniques, blending ancient wisdom with modern fitness and adapting yoga for a new era. Once again, what looked like defeat became transformation. Yoga was not crushed. It was reborn. And still, its true survival depended on something even deeper. the secret strength of the human spirit. Why did yoga survive when empires crumbled? Because it was never locked in stone. It lived in breath. It lived in silence. It lived in ordinary people. A mother chanting while cooking. A sadhu meditating in a cave. A musician weaving ragas that slowed the heart. You cannot conquer something that lives inside the human spirit. Every invasion failed because yoga was never just a practice. It was resilience itself. And now, it is your turn to carry this flame forward. Today, when you close your eyes to meditate, when you stretch into a pose, when you breathe with awareness, you are part of that same unbroken chain. The chain that survived fire, sword, and empire. Yoga's story is proof. You can silence voices, burn libraries, enslave nations. But you cannot extinguish truth. Take a deep breath, exhale, and remember, every breath you take carries a piece of history. The history of a flame that never went out. But the story is far from over. The next chapter will reveal how yoga faced new challenges under colonial rule and how visionary masters brought it back to life, not just in India, but across the world. If you want to follow this journey and witness the next chapter, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you won't miss part 2 of this series.